Good afternoon and welcome to this short course webinar. My name is Nick Lavingia, and I'm a project management consultant and advisor now in the industry. I retired from Chevron in 2013 after more than 32 years with the company, and I've been in the industry for over 35 years in the energy business. Since retiring from Chevron, I've been conducting project management seminars in the industry, and this is the first one that I'll be offering through Colorado School of Mines. Just a little bit about my background. I was very fortunate at Chevron to have worked with joint venture projects with ExxonMobil, BP, Shell, ConocoPhillips, and as a result, what I really offer in my 3-day course are industry best practices in project management. I have a bachelor's, master's in chemical petroleum refining engineering and a PhD in mineral economics from the Colorado School of Mines. And I'm a registered professional engineer in California. And with that, let's kind of move on into the course overview. So really, there are going to be 5 topics we'll be covering. The first one is, what is project management's impact on the bottom line of the company? So really talk about the business goal of why somebody should spend 3 days in this course. In order to meet that business objective, item 2 gets into a structured project development and execution process, which provides effective communication between decision makers, multifunctional project team, and stakeholders. Just having a good process alone is not good enough. We need to apply some of the value improving and best practices that optimize cost, schedule, and operability of projects. Ultimately, everything comes back to money. So item 4 really focuses on total cost management tools to plan, schedule, estimate, monitor, and report project progress. And this interactive 3-day course in item 5 uses a case study of oil production, pipeline, and a refinery. And the participants actually apply some of the key tools in each phase of the project process to come up with team deliverables. And then each team then presents it back to the whole group. So really, let's get into project management's impact on the bottom line of the company. In a capital-intensive energy business, improved capital stewardship is a key. So first thing we want to do is select good projects. So making good decisions is critical. And then we want to execute with excellence. And if we can do that, we can lower cost by, of course, faster schedule. And as a result, we can do more projects for the same capital program that we have for the company. And all of that goes into improved return on capital employed. Now, if you've seen the mergers over the last several years, Exxon with Mobil, BP with Amoco and Arco, Chevron with Texaco and Unocal, the root cause of those companies that got acquired or merged was they were not performing well in ROCE, or return on capital employed. So really, this is the key, that we want our company to perform well and not become a takeover target. All that information goes into higher earnings growth for the company, which improves the higher market confidence on Wall Street, higher price to earnings ratio, and ultimately improved total shareholder return. With that backdrop, let's talk about a project development and execution process. This is a structured process that provides effective communication between decision makers, multifunctional project team, and stakeholders. So we start with phase 1, identify and assess a business opportunity. This is where we look at all the reservoir information first. So subsurface, drilling, come up with a facilities plan, make sure the project's strategic fit in the corporate business plan, and come up with a phase 1 estimate, which has high contingency and a wide accuracy on this estimate for both cost and schedule. And we take that information to the first diamond, where a project sponsor is assigned on every key project. And that project sponsor agrees to, hey, we have a valid business case to proceed forward. We actually move the team into phase 2, where we are going to look at all the different alternatives. And the alternatives, by that, what I mean is doing nothing is always an option. expansion, building a new project, acquisition, divestiture, which means getting out of business, can also be an option. And the goal is that we generate all the alternatives, develop expected value, and really by the end of phase 2, we want to have identified a preferred alternative. And this would be what we call a phase 2 estimate, which has got moderate contingency and moderate accuracy. And this is then presented again to the Diamond 2, which is going to the project sponsor. And decision is made whether to recycle the project, stop it, or move forward. If the decision is made to move forward, we go to phase 3, where we develop the preferred alternative for full funding. We fully define scope, develop detailed execution plans, refine the estimate, and really we have done at this point about 25% engineering. And we have phase 3 estimate, which is a plus or minus 10% accuracy on both cost and schedule. Excuse me. So this information goes into the third diamond, which is the final investment decision. This is where we are committing the big money. If the executives approve the project, it goes into phase 4. This is where we do detailed engineering and procurement and construction. We implement the execution plan. The goal is to minimize changes. If it is safe and it works, we do not accept changes in phase 4. Finalize operating plan, develop a business plan for phase 5, and do a project review at the end to see how did we perform compared to what we said at the final investment decision point on safety, cost, and schedule. The fourth diamond is where we turn over an operable asset to the operating organization. In phase 5, we operate and evaluate, we monitor performance, and identify any new opportunities, maybe debottlenecking, or could be an expansion or a future project, which again would go back to the phase 1. So this is kind of in a nutshell the overall process. Having the process alone is not good enough. We need to apply some of the value improving and best practices that optimize cost, schedule, and performance of any project. So first thing we do is decision risk analysis. Making good decisions. Building a wrong project less expensively is not much help. So we want to make good decisions. By the end of phase 3, we'll have made a decision, good or bad. We'll find out at the end. Once we've gone through decision, we get into project execution planning. And the goal is to freeze the plan by the end of phase 3 and then execute the plan in phase 4 with minimal changes. Lessons learned. Seeking lessons learned from past similar projects in the company, or use external benchmarking if we have data. And the project team does not leave the project until they capture and share lessons learned, both good and bad. Value improving practices by IPA. This is the benchmarking organization, independent project analysis. They have more than 10,000 projects in the database, and they've shown statistical correlation on projects that use these VIPs, or value improving practices, and get good outcome. And some of these are like value engineering, design to capacity, constructability, etc. Most of these practices are really implemented in phase 2 and 3. There's one, constructability goes on into phase 4. Peer review is the next best practice. This is where we bring, some people call it cold eyes review. We bring in people from outside the project team who have worked on similar projects to constructively challenge this project. And they come up with observations and suggestions at the end of the workshop, and that goes into the second diamond, where the project sponsor is going to ask the project team what observations and suggestions you implemented, and if you did not, why you didn't do it. Pre-funding assessment. This is done just prior to final investment decision. This can, again, we can use a self-assessment tool, which I will be covering in the training course. Or you can use a company like IPA, Independent Project Analysis, to give you industry performance on cost and schedule, so you're building industry competitive projects. In phase 4, we do engineering, procurement, and construction reviews on some of the mega projects that go for multiple years. You need this interim reviews. At the beginning of phase 5, we do a post-project assessment to say, how did the project perform compared to what we said in final investment decision document on safety, costs, and schedule. And then we do about 1 to 2 years down the road, a business evaluation to see how did this project, did it really deliver the business results that were promised in the final investment decision. So for example, if we had said the project is going to deliver 100,000 barrels a day of oil production, well, did we do it? And the project sponsor that was appointed at the beginning of end of phase 1 is really held accountable for that business outcome. So we're talking about holding accountability 1 to 2 years after the project is done. Ultimately, everything comes back to money. So we get into total cost management. We'll talk about topics such as economic analysis. You know, I mean, the executives at the top are going to say, hey, show me the money. So you're going to have to really justify why your project should be approved over somebody else's project. Cost estimating, get into high-level conceptual estimate up front, come up with detailed estimate and definitive estimate in phase 4, and do some cost collection and data analysis in phase 5. Planning and scheduling, another key item. Coming up with benchmarking, so using like cost capacity curves, using company like IPA, independent project analysis, to come up with similar projects benchmark. And again, set some pace setter targets, pre-funding assessment, and do a post-project assessment. Another best practice is contracting and procurement. We're going to have strategy in phase 2, do pre-qualifications of contractors in phase 3, award and monitor, and close out in phase 5. Measuring performance, establish progress payments for the contractors, and measure earned value, what is physically being accomplished in phase 4. Not just time or money spent, but what are the physical deliverables we have achieved. Cost control and forecasting, not accounting, forecasting. We'll have a work breakdown structure set up in phase 2. We'll establish budgets, and we'll do trending and forecasting in phase 4. Progress reporting starts in phase 2 and continues all the way through. And finally, at the end of the job, we have to do finance and audit because the money has to be capitalized or expensed, and we do asset accounting at the beginning of phase 5 and figure out what is going to be amortized over several years. So these are really all the total cost management tools. The way this 3-day interactive course works, the attendees will be divided into 4 teams, A, B, C, and D, and each team delivers a specific tool in each phase. So if you look at the 4 phases, in 3 days, we'll have 16 tools that will be developed by the participants, and each team then presents their report back to the whole group so they can see the interaction between different tools. And at the end of the course, I will actually give out the actual answer for the case study, which, by the way, happens to be a real project that I worked with. And in phase 5, we do look back. Really, the goal of this look back is how can we improve future projects? We want to take lessons learned from past projects, both good and bad, and share with the group. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to really open it up for any questions. Oh, we do have a question, okay. Oh, the question is, why is it that so many projects are cost overrun, well exceeding the final budget? So lots of opportunities here. I mean, lots of issues you're bringing up here. And the things that we cover in the course, and one of the things I have seen over my 35 plus years in the business is we do not seem to do a good front-end planning to freeze the project scope. So what happens in phase 4 is even if we have had a plan, we change the plan. And every time you make a change, it may sound very trivial, just add one more piece of equipment or something gets delayed or engineering errors, and it has a ripple effect on a project, causing huge cost overrun, schedule delay. And you are absolutely right. This is a huge challenge. And what I've seen also over the last, at least the last 10 years, we have a perfect storm in the energy industry. We have owners who have limited and scarce resources, contractors have similar challenges, and the suppliers have been consolidating over the years. And as you well know, the capital program and budgets have just skyrocketed. The industry just has not been able to manage this whole confluence of things happening. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but the more we can do in applying a structured project development and execution process, minimize changes, we can meet business objectives. And we have, by the way, on several projects I've been involved in. Any other questions?
Well, we'll keep it at that, Nick. So thank you very much. And I put you on mute just so there wasn't an echo when we close this out. So we can see you, but we can't hear you right now. Just a reminder, this course is going to be held here on campus in Golden, Colorado, July 21st to the 23rd. Please visit the events page if you like. That URL address is at the bottom of this screen. And we do have a number of hard copy brochures as well. If you would like a hard copy brochure about the course, you can definitely reach out to us online at www.csmspace.com, and I'd be happy to put one in the mail for you. With that said, I really appreciate your time, Nick, and everybody else's time in participating. And we will end it now. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, everybody.